why we shouldn't lie. Why is it so important to do everything? Why we shouldn't lie, why we shouldn't steal, why we shouldn't do things that are wrong. Well, first of all, if you see a baby in the side of the womb of a mother, you see it's in a sleep state. In this sleep state, what we realize is that the dream that the embryo is having, the baby, the dream state it's in, it's actually the life that you're living right now, depending if you're ascending or descending, or you remain stagnant so that you can learn lessons over again. Now, when you're in the womb, like I said, you're in a dream state. In this dream state, all of your actions in your present life that you're in are actually formulating your next reality or the dimension you will be in. It's formulating, we are creating worlds with our minds, with our actions, with our thoughts. Whatever you do in this lifetime will create the world that you will experience in your next life. It's nothing but a dream. So imagine you dying or hitting the ground in your dream, and right before you hit the ground, boom, you wake up into another reality, in another being that was formulated from that life's thoughts. Ascended masters know this. This is why thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not do anything wrong, and keep the Ma'at laws. Really, those came from the Ma'at laws. You should live in harmony with nature. I do not sin against my brother, or I do not, these were all laws that actually ensured you paradise in your next life. So when we talk about building realities, when we talk about building dimensions and universes, we're talking about the mind. That's what the mind does. The mind actually built. Your past life built this life. I'll give an example. The law of attraction is an example. Whatever frequency you are on, that is the frequency you will attract to you from the field that appears to be lit up, or what we call life, what's in front of you. It's nothing truly in front of you back. You're not standing on the ground. You're just in this darkness. The mind lights this up, like I told you in my last download, from a dream. You're in nothing but your own mind and what your mind attracts to you. But before your mind could attract to you in your waking world that you're in right now, which is a dream, you actually was magnetically putting together your reality from your thoughts in your last life. So your actions in your last life start to build a reality that you will have to experience later. You see? So you never really truly get away with anything. Even if you think you got away with something, you will have to re-experience it. So what the dream realm does when you go into this dream realm, the dream realm reflects you to your subconscious, so that you can see what's wrong with you, to correct your issues that you're having in this dream right here. It's a mirror realm. So it's mirroring you to yourself, which is all of the realms are mirrors, because you're only reflecting yourself to yourself. Now, when we're talking about dealing with our karma, it's not really truly karma. It's only your mind, how you thought, how you think. And this is why we have to understand our astrology reports, because our natal charts lets us know astrologically what and how our minds work. If you know how your mind works, then you can start to create barriers to protect you from your debilitations. Then you will seek help and guidance to ensure that you create that paradise. Just imagine what you're doing right now is attracting your next life, right? Just imagine what you're doing right now is either ascending you past having to reincarnate, right? You have to reincarnate to get a whole nother lifetime of lessons just for you to realize that you are God. That's what it's all about. God's playing this game with itself. You can picture a video game. And in this video game, you have obstacles. We complain about people. We complain about external things that are happening in our lives, not realizing that we're just experiencing ourselves. And we have to learn how to overcome these obstacles. These obstacles are set out there for us to overcome, get over, get around, get under. That's what an obstacle is. These are people, place, and things. Once we realize the game of God, then we can start to play it right. So you know the game of Super Mario, right? You could say, oh man, these mushrooms, or we could say all these little square men walking around, oh man, they keep hurting me. That could be the white man, right? And say the white man is the square man. And so the square man, oh, he's holding me down. Or what if you knew that you were the controller of that game? Then you would jump over that so-called square or white man, or whatever you call it, or whatever your enemy is, whether it's the native Indians, or whatever you want to call it. You would jump over that, go down the tube, and get to your destination. Your destination is how do you win the game of God? When you realize that you are God. First, you have to know the objective of the game. You understand? First, you have to know the obstacles and understand them. But if you don't know, then you will always be caught in the obstacle of life, or obstacles of life. We have attachments, things that we attach ourselves to, and we have all of this information that is granted to us simply to expand our mind past what's going on in our lives. So when you came into the world, you were vibrating at a certain frequency. Actually, your parents are you. They were vibrating on your certain frequency. Actually, you actually made your parents with your mind, and they are you as well. They are a reflection of your mind. You had to vibrate to your parents. You had to made them with your mind, and you came out of your own self, which were them. When you came out of you, after you did something in this life to magnetically draw and create a field of reality or a universe, a parallel universe where your mother and father existed and they met each other. By however they met, they'll give you the story, but you did that from your last life so that you can come into this world that they were in. You created the whole world. That's how great you are, because you are the observer. And remember, without you opening your eyes and observing or hearing or whatever you heard from the news or whatever you see from other people, if you hear a great song, you are singing that song, whether you know it or not. If you hear a song that you don't like, you singing that song. It was you. You're only experiencing yourself. You are God experiencing itself through your astrological energy. Okay? And the game of God is that you recognize that you are God. When you get to the Christos, the Christ, the I am, that's when you recognize that I am God, and not just conceptualizing it. It's an action. You see, knowledge is what we're in abundance of right now. But without applying it, it's dead. We must apply the knowledge to our lives, and these questions that we have answers to now should take us on a quest. That's called traveling. We're traveling through consciousness, through time and space. And so through traveling through the mind, through space, you understand? We're traveling through space in time. E equals MC squared. At the speed of light. Faster than the speed of light. Because a thought moves faster than the speed of light. So if you have a question, you go to Google and you put it in. Now you're traveling. Your question took you on a quest. So in your quest, you had to get a vehicle. That vehicle was Google. So you got into Google, and that vehicle took you on a ride down to all this searching, all of that. Now you're searching, using a search engine. You see what I'm saying? And now you go on a search. Your question puts you to a search. Now you're on YouTube. That's a vehicle. And you get on that vehicle, and then in that vehicle, it's many channels of other vehicles that take you on a ride on their opinions or their whatever. But your mind is traveling without the body hardly using itself at all. This is time travel. This is the quest. But it's not just conscious. It's not just consciousness. It's not just getting the knowledge. And what happened is when we get all the knowledge, we formulate the information. This is what knowledge is. Knowledge put together. Okay, I learned about epigenetics and I learned about astrology, but can you put it together? That's called information. It's formulating from within. You formulated that from within. You got this knowledge and you put it together like, oh, so that's why, you know how you do that. You're like, oh, that's why that, Okay, oh, so that explains the skin, and how the skin is connected to the nervous system. That's called information. This is what they discover. Mathematical equations, they discover. It was always there. They discovered it. That means discover, to uncover. Discover it. That means it was already there. You just discovered it so everybody can see it and be aware and conscious of it. It's always been there. And you've always been all-knowing. You're just remembering what we forgot. Because we already are God, and that's the game. The game is all covered up, and now you're figuring out that you're God and you're all-knowing, right? And so we're utilizing, and you're here by yourself, so we're utilizing these vehicles called Google and YouTube to figure out what we are. Collectively, the internet is all of the consciousness, well, 1/3 of the world's consciousness put online, sharing information that we have, collecting all this information for what? Just to have the information? No. To apply it. Your questions should take you on a quest. A quest. It should propel you forward somewhere. And you would say, well, how am I going to get the money? The money would be the fuel for you to travel through space and time. You got to get a passport. You want to travel. You're going to want to get closer to the equator. You're going to want to go realize this thing with your own. So you're going to need money. Money is a part of the video game. Just like anything else is a part of the video game, right? If you're on a video game and you're like, oh man, I ain't got enough points to go. I got to go get these points before I can go do this, right? But see, here in the field, when you're aligned and you have a pure heart, magic happens. This is where the magic happens, where things pop out of nowhere. And the law of attraction allows you to get funds, which is fuel to your time travel. So you want to travel. Okay, I already traveled in my mind. Now it's time to apply this knowledge to my life. And when you are in line with your authentic self, everything is provided to you. This is where the magic happens. You don't need to worry. This is what Jesus was talking about. Do not worry. You know, your heavenly Father already knows what you need and is going to provide it for you. Once you're in line with your authentic self, things happen. But you must seek the kingdom of God first, and then everything else will be added unto you. But most of us are not seeking that. We have alternative motives, and so we got to go around and we fear, and so we go work a job or whatever. So you see, here you have your mind that you're dealing with. If you look all around you in your reality, it seems to be lit up. It seems to be real. Your body is vibrating at a certain frequency. But what you don't realize is none of this is real. You're in complete darkness. Your mind is lighting it up, and you are the only person in existence. Yes, you by yourself are existence. Everything else is literally electrical signals being sent to your nervous system. Your nervous system is actually who you are. Electrical signals. Think about the brain. The brain is encased in the body. It cannot experience light. It's in darkness. So how can the brain, well, we know that the nervous system is, you're receiving electrical signals on your being, whether that's via your hearing, your eyes, your nose, any sense that you have, those are all electrical signals. But it's the perception is perceived by the brain. Like I always like to say that there's a man inside of a house. He's got 5 friends. Those 5 friends will be the senses: sight, hear, touch, smell, and taste. So they go out, collect information, right? They so-called go out, because they don't go out. They're just actually receiving electrical signals. But let's say they go out, because that's what it appears to be, right? They go out of this house and they go collect the information non-judgmentally. Then they bring it to the brain, the main message center, and the brain tells them what they have seen, taste, heard. It told them everything that they have actually experienced from the brain's perception. And it's vibrating the frequency, and it's astrological energy. But the brain is not even real, right? Because if we take the brain out of the head and look at it, we would really be projecting that into our own brain as well. You can't even look at the brain without another brain perceiving that brain that we're looking at. You see what I'm saying? So really, you don't exist. You can't truly see yourself without someone else perceiving you or something else perceiving you. But truly, you can't be perceived, but only through the perception of someone else's perception. So So who perceives them? Their perception. Someone else's perception perceives you. You see what I'm saying? With that being said, we have to realize how reality works itself. If we can figure out this game, then we can win. To win is to realize that you are the creator. You are the God. You are God. And when you know your God, you're going to want to live in tune with your creation. You're going to know what your body is. This is what the information age is. It's the opportunity for the chosen. Not everybody's chosen. You got people that here that just set up as an obstacle course. Imagine you being born into your own mind, because that's what it is. You're in your own mind. You're born into your own mind. And now there's people, places, and things and situations that are there as obstacles for you to get over, to overcome. But you haven't been attached to them. You have feelings that are attached to them, false feelings. They're not based in any kind of objectivity. It's always based in subjectivity. False feelings that attach you to things, and you have to overcome them. Most people are not real. They're just there as characters in this movie this dream that you're in. They're just part of your subconscious. Everything else outside of you is your subconscious and reflecting itself back to you through electrical signals, period. Everything outside of self, what you see and what you experience from sight, all of your senses, everything that you experience is not external, it's actually in your own mind, and you're receiving electrical signals from it. You're refracting yourself back to yourself. And whatever you do and the reaction of whatever happens to you, you are responsible in creating your next dream realm. Where you go, you will experience the results of your thoughts and actions in this life. That's why it's imperative that you be perfect. So that the world you go to next is bound to be perfect. We talk about who created the world. How did this happen? It happened with your mind, your thoughts. You're only experiencing your thoughts. Get your natal chart. Please. Study yourself, know thyself. That's the key. Once you know who you are, then you can look externally, which appears to be externally, right? Quote unquote externally, and see how you magnetically drawn this situation to you. Because how you think, yes, even the family that you were born into, you will see, wow. When you look in your past life report, you see why this world looks the way it looks when you look into your past life. When you are seeking, you shall find. When you are not, the door will be open. When you ask, you will receive with a pure heart. If you really truly want to know, the chosen really want to know the truth. They don't care about anything but the truth. Okay? It is imperative that we live in harmony with what we are. Why? Because the earth, and I'm going to go into later downloads about what the earth is and what reality is truly. But just know that and just to end this download right here, we don't want to make it too long, but just know that you're living inside of your own mind, and everything is a refraction of you. And as soon as you start to take responsibility for your own actions, life will start to change. Life will start to change. It's me. That's why I say reflection, because you're only dealing with you. Your light refracting itself to itself. Study your natal chart so you can see how sometimes light refracts itself in a way that gives you a disability where you can't communicate yourself very well, strongly in that way. But you always be given a guide, something that guides you. You tap into Natureboy and you realize, whoa, wait a minute, everything's me. I just tapped into Natureboy. That must be my higher self, because every time I listen to this being, I'm tuning in. My mind is elevated. When my mind elevates, my actions elevate. When my actions elevate, my life elevates. I live an elevated life. And then when my life elevates in the present moment, it has to, by law, by universal law, elevate the future in my next reality. I love myself.
I love myself.